In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to put in your maximum and minimum error lines. Now to do this, we click on our graph and we go to Analyze and we go to Curve Fit as before. We've got our straight line. We're going to put a straight line. Now it's quite useful here to look at the slope that we actually have for our bedfist line. So I've got there 4.40. So I'm going to put that in. So I'm going to put in 4.4 into my slope, and I have my y-intercept is just about 0, so I can put in 0 there. And you can see there I've got, this gives a little picture of what the graph is. Now I want this graph to actually be, I'm going to firstly do my maximum. So I wanted to try to go as steep as possible, this line, but still go through the error bars. So what I do here is over here you can adjust the amount that you change by each time you click on it. So I'm going to just make this 0.01. So I just have more a finer adjustment when I do this, and put 0.01 here. Okay, now I'm going to take this perhaps down a little bit, and then I'm going to steepen up the graph. So I steepen up my graph and I try and get it so it's as steep as it possibly can be, but still goes through the error bars. And that, maybe I can just take my y-intercept down a bit still. I can make this a bit steeper. Let's try that. So that looks like about as steep as it can be while still fitting within my error bar. So I say OK, and there it is. It draws it in for me. And you can still see, although it misses that error bar, it's still probably within the range. If I draw an ellipse around through these, it would probably still pass through. So that's looking fine. Now I'm going to do exactly the same. So that's the one graph. That's my steepest line. I'm going to do exactly the same, but in this one, I'm going to try and do a graph where I have as shallow or the least steep that I can put in. So I start again with 4.4 as I had before, and I'm going to start with 0, and let's see, how does it work? Oh, I've got to change these again. Please, they don't keep it in the previous one. 0.01. So okay. Now I'm going to try and put one as shallow as possible. So firstly I'm going to now go up here as far as possible on my y-axis, and I'm going to start making it shallow. As you can see, I'm going down there, down there, down there, down there. Maybe make this y-intercept go a little bit higher, and down, down, down. This is, in actual practice, is not always that easy, and it's, you just try the best that you can with it. My data is pretty good, and I've got big error bars, so it's quite easy, but you may find it a little more difficult. Anyway, that looks pretty shallow and looks like it's going through all the error bars. In actual fact, you'll find that when you actually do it, it doesn't look exactly the same as this. And I put it in, and there I go. Now maybe it's a bit too shallow, it's not really going through there, but maybe if you did this, it would just touch in there, so it's fine. So there I've got my 3 lines. Unfortunately, it should distinguish it better. It's not great the way it goes, but you've got this is your steepest line with your slope being at the greatest, and here's your shallowest line. There's your slope being at its minimum, and from these we are going to be working in the error. This is my best fit line, and importantly, it's quite interesting here. You can see that these error bars on either side of the origin, you're going to see when we do our conclusion, this actually is really important. But that's basically how you put in your maximum and your minimum error bar lines.